Hi everybody, welcome to my little project. Anybody who's been following me on my videos will know about this task I've been working on over the last 2 or 3 years. It's a classic Mini 1976 with a engine transplant from another car in there. So I got myself a Nissan Micra K11 2001, took the engine out of that, the wiring loom, other bits and pieces, and squashed it into this little classic Mini. So the Nissan Micra engine is a 1.4 16 valve lump, nice little motor, quite reliable. Gearbox is on the side, so there's a lot more to squash in under the bonnet. But there's previous videos you can see of what's going on under the bonnet. Get a chance, I'll put a photo up here. Now that leads to some inherent problems. You have to have a bespoke subframe to mount the engine on and mount the engine and subframe to the car. It's got to tie in with all the Mini suspension and drive shafts, even though the drive shafts need modifying. It's got to make room for the steering rack, all that kind of thing. But the biggest nightmare with these type of transplants is really the electrics. I've took the Nissan Micra loom, cut miles and miles and miles of wiring out of it, because it had things like electric windows, air conditioning, heated screen, directional headlights, all that kind of modern stuff. Been ripped out. It had to be extended in parts as well, because strangely enough some parts wouldn't reach to the places I needed to reach to. So the wiring has been a real nightmare, especially with things like the Nissan anti-theft system that they've got on there. But previous videos on that. Because there's not much room under the bonnet, with the gearbox on the side and the need to get a radiator in there and being a rounded front Mini as well, a lot of the electrics have had to come inside. So you've got things like the engine fuses, you've got the main fuse board there with all the contact breakers on and all that type of thing. There's little black boxes and stuff going on everywhere. It's a real plate of spaghetti. It really is. Now I had a choice. I had an option. I could either try and blend the Micra loom into a mini loom. I didn't really want to go down that route. I thought it was complicated enough, and not being a car electrical expert, I thought it was a little bit beyond me. So I've tried to keep things as simple as possible. So I've kept the Micra dashboard, which I think looks all right. I've managed to mount it in the centre. It's got a rev counter on there, fuel gauge all works, temperature, trip, all that kind of thing works on there. Again, you have to come up with novel methods of trying to attach this into the Mini bulkhead, but it's in there. I've somehow managed to get the heater back in with all the ducting and the screen vents there. I'm struggling a little bit trying to get some eyeball vents into the corners here from the standard Mini air intake distribution boxes and associated pipework going up to the front of the car. I've managed to keep a couple of Micra dashboard switches in there. There's a There's a line going to the back which says heated screen, but I haven't got a heated screen in at the moment. I've got hazards which work, so I've managed to keep a couple of micro switches which I've mounted on a little fabricated bracket. I've got no need for any micro switches or heater controls or choke cable in this hole here, so this hole has become somewhat redundant. But what I would like is a few creature comforts, and considering there's no parcel shelf left and I've got aesthetically all this to kind of hide somewhere, I don't want to be driving around staring at wiring looms and multicoloured fuses. So I need to screen this area off. I could just have a slab of covered plywood or perspex or hardboard or something like that, trimmed up. But I still want to gain access to the fuses if I can. So I need something that drops down. So my natural thinking was, well, can I adapt some kind of mini wooden dashboard glove box type thing with the central clock, which many people would associate with a Wolseley Hornet or a Riley Elf. So I've been trying to adapt some cheeks, some dashboard cheeks to come in each side of that to cover all this gubbins here, but also have some drop down method to give me access to the electrics, to maintenance and to fuse changing. So that's the idea there. Creature comforts aesthetically, yeah, can crack that one. This hole here, I'd like a stereo. I want to be able to attach my phone to something. I want to play a few tunes. I've got nowhere really here to fit it. There's nowhere left. So my natural assumption is I will fit a little dinky stereo in there, a little Bluetooth thing into that slot. So I've been looking around for a stereo that will slide in there. I found one, and it's got in the hole, which is always helpful. I've got some main leads coming in here. You need a constant live, and you need an engine switch live, which are those two. You need an earth, and then I've got a bunch of speaker wires here, because the stereo I've got is a 4-speaker thing, 2 at the front, 2 at the side. I've got 2 nice little speakers in the back parcel shelf, which I'll put a photo up of me building a cheap parcel shelf cover out of an old furniture panel. I'll show you that. And I've got 2 speakers in the front, traditional car speakers in the back, but these speakers are some waterproof ones that you buy for a yacht or a boat. And they're the only ones I could find which are a full speaker, which will fit, excuse me, out of the way underneath this parcel shelf. I don't want any speakers in the doors. I hate door pockets, and I hate mullering doors up with speaker holes. Got nowhere here to fit any speakers. I don't want any speakers up here. So really there in these bottom corners is where I want to fit them. So that's the plan. A lot of it's been done and squashed in and hammered back and rammed in and cable tied off and tape wrapped just to make it look tidy. Ventilation is going to be a bit of a compromise. Just by the way, I've had to make the dashboard panels, but we'll come back and I'll show you what this cobbled together dashboard looks like once it's fitted. So see you in a tick.